Welcome back to the MVP podcast, the People Show, where we talk about the most valuable players in the world of sports. My name is B-Man. I'm here with Sauce with the Sauce.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
We're here.
the most valuable player today is none other than French World Cup winning Paul Pogba. Man, he wants out. It's official now. The team. Not the team actually. The agent has actually said that that Pogba is done. And I actually want to quote what he said. Now, what he said is that Paul is unhappy. He's no longer able to express himself as he would like and as expected of him. He has to change teams. He has to change the air. He has a contract that will expire in a year and a half, but I think the best solution for the parties is to sell him in the next market. Raiola apparently also said that it was not Pogba's intentions to extend his contract all the way up to 2022. The brother is gone. The brother is gone.
This agent, yeah, all he sees is money. All he sees is dollar signs. That's all he sees. He sees Pogba as a paycheck.
Yeah.
And he knows if he gets a move, agent fees are coming. So I'm not surprised at this statement. Well, I'm not surprised. Like we knew what this guy's agent's about. Like we seen him move Zlatan all over the place. So like this was kind of, I don't want to say inevitable, but we were going to go down that path.
I know what you mean. Do you know what it is? I'm just disappointed that for the second time in a row, Paul Pogba couldn't speak for himself. And he had to let Raiola do all the talking for him. That's what disappoints me about this situation. Okay, once it's fine, your agent has your back, he says what needs to be said, but to do it a second time, that doesn't sound like an agent that has your best interest at heart, man. If he doesn't even allow you to speak for yourself, at the end of the day, Pogba's his own man, and that's what disappoints me the most.
You know what's funny? I remember, well, in the group chat, Weezy, I don't know if he said it directly, but he mentioned about, and I thought it was interesting, the timing of this.
Yeah.
The fact that, this information didn't need to come out today. It didn't need to come out today. Like you have a game coming up so soon. He just come off a good performance against West Ham. You think, okay, Pogba's getting back on form now. Let's see where this can take Man United. And this kind of derails Man United's, I don't want to say it doesn't derail their form, but the team was coming together. You felt like they'd overcome something, and it kind of just it jars everything. Everything's kind of jarring now.
But if you really take a deep look, ever since Pogba actually signed for United, he's actually been nothing but trouble for United. Genuinely, I think he's been more trouble than he's been worth. I don't think he's been worth that money for United at all. What was it, 70-odd million that they paid for him? I mean, they made the money back.
90 million.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, goodness gracious me. Yeah. Like the club made the money back. I know they have. But it's just the fact that they had to go, like the way it had to end. I think there's so many issues. I think it's on both sides. I think Pogba could have done more to try and be in the team, have more hunger, just try and play through all the loud noises that are happening around him. But at the same time, I've always said that United haven't done enough to put a team around him. But they're doing it now. This is the first time that Man United are actually doing, like it seems like anyway, where they're picking up at least a few players that are looking good for United. They picked up Fernandes. They picked up Van de Beek. They picked up the Telles kid that plays left back. We've got Cavani up front who looks better than I thought he would ever be. Like you've got this now. And it's like you said, it's like such bad timing.
Let me ask you something, yeah? Would you, I did some digging, yeah, just to check to see how Pogba's been performing for Man United compared to when we considered Pogba to be at his, I don't want to say his best, but like the best that we've seen Pogba when he's at Juventus. Here's some interesting stuff. This guy in Juventus, he got 33 goals, 31 assists, yeah, in his 4 seasons at Juventus.
Okay.
In his 6 seasons at Man United, bear in mind this season is half a season this year. and like he was injured last year,
Last season,
he has got 34 goals, 35 assists for Man United in those 6 seasons that he's been with us. So as far as output goes, it's not that dissimilar. Like, granted, he was a younger player then. You'd expected maybe a bit more growth, but you're not losing that much. Like, he's not like he's declined or anything. He's not dropped off. It's just that he's not played. That's the real issue. He's just not played.
You're right, but I think those numbers deserve a bit of context, though. The numbers deserve a bit of context. Remember,
Sure.
he went through that whole Jose Mourinho period where they were practically fighting, where they couldn't even look each other in the eye anymore. Now, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think they said something along the lines of he only played like 20 games last year, and he didn't even start all of them. This year, he's only started 5 games the whole year. So there's a lot of context to be made. Paul Pogba could have done so much more for United if he wasn't so... I don't want to use the word prima donna. I don't want to. But sometimes you kind of look at it and you're like, why are you so self-entitled? Man United doesn't owe you anything. You should be playing the best that you can, regardless. That's how good he is. Like, think about your legacy. Think about your name. Like, your career is going to go down as arguably like do you know what? That time it just didn't work out for him. When I was at Man United the first time around, it didn't work out for him. He came back, it didn't work out for him. He's left, like you said, right? I think that nails it on the head. He hasn't shown any marked improvements at all in the 6 years that he was there. The question is, was he really better at Juventus than he was at United? And I think most people will say that he was better at Juventus. So whoever is out there that is actually trying to sign him, like, you really have to think, what is it that I'm getting? Well, you're getting a superstar player who could, on his day, turn a whole game upside down. But at the same time, you've got a player that clearly throughout his years in football has actually caused like a lot of dissatisfaction with managers. And it's not a one-off thing.
Here's the thing, yeah. This is my opinion about Pogba. And I think that he was checked out of Man United seasons ago, years ago. He was checked out of Man United. I think, and again, I did some digging to check to see like what's happened so far. So this is what I've got for his past 3 seasons, or should I say 2.5 seasons, because we're only halfway through this one. So far, this season, he's had, 19 appearances in all competitions. He's got 2 goals, 2 assists in all competitions.
What is that this season?
That's this season so far.
He's played 19 games?
In all competitions.
He hasn't played any Champions League games.
He missed a bit at the start of the season with COVID.
Yeah, where did the 19 come? That sounds like a big number.
I mean, bear in mind, you're talking all competitions. You're talking, so he's played 19 games. So I think 19.
We'll go with it.
But the season before, last season, when he had his injury, he played 22 games and he got 1 goal, 3 assists. Now, again, he only played 22 games out of the possible like 40-odd, potentially 50-odd games that he could have played for Man United. But the season that he was effectively fit for, where he played 2018-19 season, he played 47 games, 47 appearances. He got 15 goals and 11 assists in that time. And now bear in mind, this was the time, I believe, where you guys still had Lukaku.
Sounds about right.
It sounds to me that with the changes in the squad, the fact that you guys moved on from, I think Lukaku moving kind of signaled to Pogba that you guys are not wanting to add to the squad whilst I'm here. You'd much rather sell. I think that planted a seed in his mind where he was checking out of Man United. He was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with these guys. If they're just going to be a case of, they're not going to put pieces around me and they're going to try and build. That's when, again, this is the same time where Ole came to the team. Jose just left. They decided, you know what? We're not going to sign big players. We're just going to use the players we've got. We're going to build from the academy. And I don't think he agreed with that timeline. He's like, look, this is not for me. I just want to leave. Now, it looks like Man United are turning the corner. They're doing well. But I think already the writing's on the wall for him. Yeah. The writing's on the wall. He doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah. The damage was done ages ago. And I think for me, the moment that proved it more than any is when we played Arsenal. And Pogba gave up the penalty. Leading up to the penalty, the guy was a pedestrian on the pitch. The moment that he conceded that penalty, and I don't hold that against him. People concede penalties all the time. I don't know why they made such a big deal out of it. Actually, I know why they made such a big deal out of it. He's the most hated player in football. Pundits just don't like him. They just don't. They don't, right? So they have to make a big deal out of it, right? But the moment that he realized, yo, I actually kind of messed up, he was a completely different player. More energy, more drive, he was more relentless. There was more energy about him. And I was sat there thinking, well, what the hell has this Donny been? He's trying to run past players. He's trying to make good passes. He's trying to get involved. He's not walking. And that's when I was like, do you know what? That just closed the door for me. That was like, do you know what? I'm done with the Pogba episode for Man United now. He can move on. Like, I'm not even upset. Like, genuinely, I think Man United are going to be better off without him, because then the talk about should he play, should he not play, like the whole Ozil situation at Arsenal, like Arsenal should really play him. He's really that good. And I agree with that. Just get that question out of the room. Like, let's not entertain it anymore. It's not going to happen. Let the guy walk. If Real Madrid are the team that want him, let him go to Real Madrid. If it's Juventus that want him, let him go to Juventus. If it's PSG, I don't care who it is.
Well, this is the Pogba podcast, yeah? So realistically, because now he's fit now, he's playing games, but with the arrival of Bruno, you've kind of seen Pogba being effectively sidelined. He's no longer the guy. It's affected his value. What does it mean for Pogba now? Like, does it mean that, like, now that he's not the main guy at Man United, is his value for transfers potentially lower? Would it mean that a team would potentially have a better chance at signing him? Like, what's the outcome for Pogba right now? I
think the way that the whole situation unfolded today, I think Man United actually now have the upper hand rather than not, because now they can look at Paul Pogba and say, do you know what? We might not even want to get rid of you. You want to leave? Well, do you know what? You might just have to wait a year and a half. And that would mean that Mino Raiola is then going to have to go talk to these teams and say, yo, unless you put in big money, they're not going to let him go. He's not happy. And you know what? The guy's been sidelined for so long. I think Man United, until they get the right offer, they're happy for him to just sit there and do nothing. Like, if you're actually going to go out of your way and say, well, I'm not happy anymore, then that's fine. You can go. But this is how much you're worth. This is how much money we want. And until you get that sorted, we're not interested. So until we see an email or we have a check on our desk that says Pogba is, and I think it should be somewhere around the similar price that they bought him for, maybe a little bit more. It's like, that's how much we want minimum. Go and find it. If no one wants to offer it, then walk away from it. I generally do believe Man United have the upper hand in that.
They may have the upper hand, but I don't think you're getting 90 million for this guy.
Oh, I think we'll get 90 million for him.
I don't honestly, like, again, we have to realize there's the trying times right now. There's a couple of teams that can afford to do it. Maybe a PSG could do it. If Real Madrid sell a few people, maybe they could do it.
No, I think sorry, go ahead, continue. Sorry.
Honestly, I think it's going to come to a point where he's going to run down his contract. I think this is hard for me to say, or not really hard for me to say, but I don't want this to happen. I don't want to speak into existence, but I feel like there's going to be like an Ozil situation where he's just not going to get played. He's going to be sat on the bench. He's just going to be collecting a paycheck, and we're not going to see him in his prime for like the next year and a half.
Do you know when he would lose value? Is if he's still on the team come summertime. Then he'll lose value. Then you're looking at 40 million, 50 million, 60 million, around that ballpark. Because then it's like, well, if we don't actually get rid of this guy, then it's a problem. I cannot see Man United doing it, though, because to let him go for free is just ridiculous with everything that has transpired between Pogba and the United team. It's like, do you know what? It's a summer now. We don't want you anymore. Do you know what? Whoever comes and bids for you. And I think for a lot of them, I don't think they'll get the cash up front, but I think if it's some of these bigger teams, there's going to be a cash plus a player swap situation where maybe perhaps Luka Modric will be part of the deal, or at PSG, I don't know what they have to offer, but I think there's going to be like a money with a player on top for Pogba. I think that's the only way that a lot of these teams can afford him. But I think we've reached the allotted time for this discussion, Sosa, and I appreciate you for coming on. You didn't do the line, so can you do the line right now?
Guys, if you like the video, please go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Share with your friends. We do appreciate all the love and support you've given us. You man, lead us out, man.
And thank you so much for listening. We are from the MVP podcast. Peace.